Hello Gr10s, welcome. We are starting off with your journals today. But let's quickly go back. Remember this year we already covered your informal businesses and your formal businesses. We looked at how informal businesses keep records and also how the formal businesses need to keep records. Now we are going to now focus on formal businesses. We're going to look at the sole trader. A sole trader, a one-man show, a business that has only one owner. Now, what do we need to do? We need to look at the accounting cycle just quickly. Remember, we covered this in detail last week. So, the accounting cycle will have your source document firstly after the transaction. You fill in the source document, you give it to the client. Another thing, after this source document was issued, we have to take all these source documents to a journal. And we will look at especially the cash receipts, cash payments, and your petty cash journals today. What do we do after we've placed in all the source documents in these journals? We need to total the journal, and then we need to transfer the totals and the amounts to your general ledger. And after that, we'll do a trial balance, and then we'll complete the income statement and balance sheet. But that's only for term 3. So let's look at the key words for the cash receipts journal of the sole trader. So I gave you a few transactions. We'll look at these transactions now. As you can see, the cash receipts journal will have a CRJ as abbreviation. There it is. So we're going to do the CRJ now. So what is the CRJ? What do we need to remember? The CRJ has got 2 source documents that we will use. We will use the duplicate receipt. Remember, the original receipt will be issued to the person paying the business. And then we'll have the cash register tape or the cash register roll. Remember what I said, that is that duplicate receipt roll in the till that you can't see. The till, the slip will be pulled off and given to you, but the duplicate will be in the back of that machine running so that we have record of every sale. So let's jump into these transactions and see how I can complete the CRJ very easily. So the very first one is given. It's the first, and Iletu N started his business, so it's a male owner, by depositing the 100,000 Rand in the current account. Issue receipt number 0 R01. Now, remember, we have the big 5. We have receipt number, that's number 1. We have the date. We have who paid the business the money. So who gave the business money? Then the amount. We have the amount, it's 100,000. And then, why did the business now receive this money? What's the reason for the receipt? And that's your big 5. Now let's go and see how I'll place this into the journal. Let's go look at the journal. I already completed this one for you. So we have the cash receipts journal, and there we have number 1, receipt number R01. The date will be number 2. Do you see my second one? And then the owner gave the money. There's the owner. And then bank went up. That's the amount we received. And then we have capital, which is number 5. So this is the reason for the receipt. Now remember, let's quickly look at this column here, the analysis of receipts, this one. What does that mean? The analysis of receipts will be when the business receives money, we need to count that money. Now, think of this, a big supermarket. Will that supermarket run to the bank every single time they receive money? And the answer is no, they won't run to the bank every time. Imagine the cashier sitting there getting money, running to the bank, getting money. It's going to be chaos. So what will businesses like these do? They will receive all the money during the day and then bank it on the very last day. So let's continue with the next one. We have our second transaction. Let's look at that one. It's the third, and we sold goods for 7,200, and it was a cash sale, so we received the money, and they gave us the markup that we've used. Now, how do I record this in the CRJ? Let's go and look. So here's my CRJ. We have again an example. The cash register tape will be used. Why will I use a cash register tape? Let's think of this. You go to the supermarket, you go and buy things. Does the cashier know who you are when you pay cash? No. Do they really care? No, because you pay for your goods, you leave, so we don't really care, right? You get what you want, you give them what they want, so you give them the money, you take the goods, everybody's happy. So let's look at how to record it now. We have the cash register tape, and again, we have number 1 there. Then we have the day, which is 2. The third thing is we can write here sales. Why do I use the word sales? Because we don't have the person's name here. So if we don't have the person's name, write sales, and that's the only transaction for the day. So we'll count the money and then draw a nice line like I've drawn there, and then we take it to the bank. And now remember, we had a sale, but now that's your big 5. So we have your amount as number 4 and your sales as number 5, because that's why we received the money. But now I have this thing. Sales is always married. When we sell goods, sales is married to cost of sales. So cost of sales will always be there when we have a sale. So in this case, we'll have 6 things to remember. But remember, sales will always have a cost of sale, and cost of sales is married to trading stock. So whatever we sold, what did we sell? We sold trading stock, and we bought it at the cost price. So if you work it out, you would have received the amount and worked it out to be 3,600. Let's look at the next one. So we have the next one, which is, let's use a nice another color pen. We have the 10th, and we received 5,000 Rand commission from LC wholesalers. But now there's another one here. So what happens here? We have a second receipt for the day. And this receipt will be a cash sale, and we sold 8,000 Rand merchandise. Now guys, don't get confused. We sold still 8,000 Rand. So this 8,000 Rand is my selling price. What markup does this company or business use? They use the 100%. So if I give it to you at the top, you need to remember that 100% and use it throughout your question. So let's go and see how to enter it in the CRJ. So we have receipt number 2. And now you can see I threw away the 0. This will still be acceptable because we have receipt 02, receipt 2, it's the same thing. So that's my number 1. Then I have my date. I have LC wholesalers, and they gave me an amount of 5,000. Now we counted this money, right? We received this money, we're counting the money, so we have 5,000 Rand. But now, remember, what is the reason for this receipt? We had commission, income, as you can see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 entries for this line. But now remember, on the same day, we had a sale. So we have the CRT, the cash register tape. You can write here the 10th, or you can leave it open. It does not matter because it's the same day. What did we do? We had a sale. We sold for 8,000. And now, remember, we had a sale of 8,000, and half of that, because our markup is 100%, we have 4,000 Rand as the cost of sales. But now, remember, what did we receive today? What did we receive? We received the 5,000 and we received the 8,000. And that together would give you the 13,000. Now, I'm hoping that you understand this in good detail because I'm going to leave you with the last 2 transactions. Let's read them together. On the 15th, we received 2,500 Rand for rent income from P. Smith, and we sold goods for cash 1,000 Rand. The cost price is 100% because we used the normal markup. I'm giving you 2 minutes to complete the 2 transactions. Okay guys, I hope you got both of them right, but I want to quickly draw your attention to, say you made a mistake now. Remember, you completed those 2 transactions now in your journal. How do I fix errors in a journal? Now, I made a mistake. Hopefully you picked it up at the beginning of this lesson, and I want to show you how to fix a mistake. So let's quickly, before we mark your 2 transactions, let's go and see how to fix your mistakes, and then we'll mark. So let's go to number 1 again. I said Gr10 started his business. How do I fix mistakes? Let's go and see. Draw a very neat line. You can see I wrote Gr10. Draw a nice line through it, and at the top, very neatly say Gr10. And as you can see, it's done very neatly, and the teacher can still read it. Now, your answers. Let's go and see. So your answers, let's quickly erase that dot. Your answers needs to be your receipt number R3 on the 15th. P. Smith paid me. They paid me 1,500. And the reason is rent income. And now, what did we do for the next one? We have your cash register tape. The date was still the 15th, so if you wrote nothing, it's fine, but you can write 15 in here as well. Then we have your sales, and what did we receive? 1,000. Now guys, let's quickly stop there. What is the total receipts for the day? You received 1,500. You also received 1,000. So what will I take to the bank at the end of the 15th? Let's go and see. We will take 2,500 Rand to the bank. So again, we added these two. And remember, what is your sales? Your sales remain 1,000. And then your cost of sales will be half of that because we worked it out to the markup of 100%. And there you answered it. What do I do very lastly? I need to total. So let's go and see. Here is my totals. Now, just quickly for your general ledger, how do I complete the totals? Remember, your bank, you received, so bank will be a debit entry. Your sales, it went up. And when your sales go up, remember, sales and income, it will go on the credit side. And our cost of sales, remember, cost of sales also went up, but this is an expense, guys. So the expense needs to go to the debit side. But now, cost of sales is married. Cost of sales is married to trading stock. So this amount needs to also go down on the credit side. And remember, we sold what? We sold trading stock. And then the last ones, capital went up. It went up on the credit side. Commission income, it went up. And it went up on the credit side. And then rent income went up. And it's again on the credit side. All of them incomes, therefore on the credit side. And remember how to fix my errors. I see the error transferred here. Remember to write Gr10 in. And as you can see, it's still very neat, it's still legible, and hopefully you fixed all your errors. If there was, hopefully there were no errors in this journal. See you now. Okay guys, so your cash receipts journal was totaled. We looked at what happened to your bank. We looked at what happens to sales. Now I want to quickly show you, just as an example, how to transfer these totals into your general ledger. So we'll start from the left. Always, always, always start from the left. Now remember, analysis were not totaled because it's not really an amount. There's no T account for analysis. That's just the way to help you to add up all the receipts for the day and then put it into bank and then total at the end. So the bank is the main one. So let's start at bank. Your bank went up, right? We received money. So let's go and look at the general ledger entry. Here's my bank, and as you can see, your bank went up, and bank is an asset, so it's a plus minus. And we will write the end of the month, which is August the 31st. We will write sundry accounts or total receipts. We'll write in here CRJ because that's the journal we received the total from. Now, this is the total showing at the end of the journal. Now, what happens to your sales? Remember, that's a nominal. Your sales will go up on the credit side. Now, I don't have the nominal accounts now. I'll just refer to them. The next column was cost of sales. Now, this is a nice contra account showing. Cost of sales, an expense. Expenses will be debited. So therefore, your expense goes up on the debit side. But who's married to cost of sales? And I have the account here, your trading stock. So let's look at your trading stock or your trading inventory. Your trading inventory also an asset, so we can mark it as an asset. And remember, assets are plus, minus. But now, if you sold some of this trading stock, what happens to your trading stock? It went down. And the reason for it to go down was you sold, you had a cost of sale. And I received this info from my CRJ. Now, remember now the sundry accounts, they're at the end. We start at the top and move your way down. So your capital was very, very high. It was the first one, and then we had commission income and rent income, and that's how you will transfer the amount. So your capital, the owner gave more money. Your letter gave more money to the business. So the company or the sole trader received more capital. So what happens in the sole trader's T account now? Capital goes up on the credit side. And why did it go up? We as business received 100,000 and the info we received was from the CRJ. And that's how you complete your general ledger. Now let's go to the CPJ, the one that I love. It's the easiest one of all journals, I think. So the CPJ is the cash payments journal. So let's go and look at the abbreviation. Let's go and write it there. So we are going to look at the cash payments journal now. Now the transactions to the CPJ and the general ledger will now be done. But now, guys, know that we have new transactions in grade 10. Stuff that you didn't cover in grade 8 and 9. Now, let's quickly go through a few of these. The very first one will be your carriage on purchases. And I gave you a nice note here. Carriage on purchases is paid to transport goods we have bought. It increases the cost of the goods. It will therefore be added to the trading stock account. So, if I go to, say, a bed shop and I buy a new bed, the bed is costing you 4,000 Rand. Now, this bed is still at the bed shop, so you are paying them 4,000 Rand, but did you get the bed at home yet? And the answer is no. Now you need to make a plan to get the bed at home. So you will have to probably get a transport company to get the bed for you at home. So you will now get a transport company and you will pay them, let's say, 500 Rand for the transportation of the bed. How much, in fact, did you now pay for this bed? Only 4,000 or 4,500 or 500? The answer will be 4,500. Remember, that is the cost that you incurred to get the bed at home. And that's now your bed that you can use. Same thing with a business. When a sole trader buys any trading stock, if there's a transport cost, when they buy, the goods will go up. So trading stock will be more valuable in the books of the sole trader. Another one, we have carriage on sales now. Now, carriage on sales, it is paid to deliver goods sold to customers. And this will be an expense account and it will be shown separately. So be careful. If you have carriage on sales, it's an expense. It's maybe a service your business renders to maybe attract more clients and customers. So be very careful and be sure it's carriage on purchases. That's when the business buys. That's an expense of trading stock. The carriage on sales will be an extra expense. But if you don't want to do it for free, guys, you can also build it into your costing system and say, the debtor needs to pay me or they need to pay for this as an extra. So it will be maybe a fee income for the business. Let's look at a few more. We have bank charges. When items like service fees, credit card levies, the internet fees, and deposit fees appear on the statement, all payments are to the bank as bank charges. So what do I say there? If you get 10 of these fees printed on your bank statement, guys, you need to add all of the fees up and show all of them together as a bank charge. Remember, the bank is a business. The bank needs to make money. How do they make money? They charge you different kind of fees on different things you do at the bank. So they'll charge you admin fees and service fees like explained. All of those added together will be your bank charge. Hopefully you are fine with that. But the one you need to look out for is the next one. Your interest on overdraft. What is that? What is an overdraft, guys? An overdraft is you have the facility at a bank. You have the option of going into a minus at the bank. So you can borrow short term from the bank. So if you borrow short term, what happens? You owe the bank. And when you owe the bank, they will charge interest on your overdue account. Now, this is an extra expense, but we can't include it in a bank charge because of the Gr10 principle, the materiality. Okay, materiality means we need to keep your operating expenses separate to that of your financing expenses. And this will be a financing expense, so you need to keep it completely separate. And now let's jump into the transactions for the CPJ. Let's look at the CPJ. Again, the big five. Remember the big five? We need to look for 5 things. So we have the first one. Abiba bought equipment from fancy suppliers and paid 1,400 by check number 1. Now, what did we buy? We bought equipment and assets. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things highlighted. Let's go and look at the journal. We have check number 1. It's on the first of fancy suppliers, and we paid 1,000. And why did we pay this 1,000? We bought equipment, and there's my number 5. Hopefully you got that one right. Let's look at the next one. On the 4th, we bought merchandise. Now guys, remember, what words will I use in my account? Merchandise is the same thing as trading stock or trading inventory. So we will use an account in trading stock or trading inventory. We won't have a merchandise account. We won't have a goods account. We won't have a products account. We will have an account called trading stock, and that's what we will use. Now, we bought merchandise on the 4th from Rory Electrical Stores. So again, that's where we're buying from. We are paying them 15,000, and we're paying by check number 2. Now let's go and look at the CPJ. Here I have it. Check number 2. On the 4th, Rory Electrical Stores. We bought for 15,000. That's number 4, the amount. And here's my tier account, or my column for trading stock. So your trading stock will go up because we bought more. Let's go and look at the next transaction. The next one will be on the 10th. We paid again. So that's your keyword, guys. We're paying. So it's CPJ. We are paying 1,200. That's the amount. But what are we paying? We are paying rent for the month to Google Properties. And we paid it by check number 3. Now let's go and look at the CPJ entries. Here it is. I have check number 3. We have it on the 10th. Google Properties, number 3. Your 4th thing, the amount. Remember, you paid 1,200. And then you paid 1,200 for what? The rent expense. Now, just to stop there, remember, if you don't have a column, so here's a column for wages, a column for trading stock. For any other expense or asset that you purchased, you will use the sundry accounts. Why the sundry accounts? The sundry accounts are there for all the accounts that we don't use every single day. So remember that. Let's go and look at one more transaction. So now I have on the 15th, I paid Tabo Transporters. So that's who I'm paying again. Paying means CPJ. For transporting the goods to the shop. And check number 4, and I'm paying 5,200. So let's go and see how to record this one. Hopefully you paid attention and you know that check number 4, that's easy. It's on the 15th and Tabo Transporters. But now the amount is 5,200. And where will I place it? I will place it in the column for trading stock. Now remember guys, when I buy goods and I pay transport for these goods, Where will I place the amount? I'll place it in trading stock because my trading stock is now costing me, in fact, more than just the cost and purchase price. Let's go look at the others. So guys, I'm going to ask you to do the following ones, and let's see if you can do it. Bought more goods from Rory Electrical Stores and paid 5,000 Rand by check number 5. And then the next one will be paid the wages in cash for 5,000. And then on the 27th, the bank statement from GoBank revealed the following charges: service charges 40 Rand, internet banking fee of 55, and interest on overdraft 120, and the very last one, a deposit fee of 25. Quickly complete the CPJ. I'm giving you 2 minutes to do it. Okay guys, let's look at your answers. Let's go through everyone again and let's see if you got it correct. So on the 20th, that's your day, we gave check number 5. We bought from Rory Electrical Stores and we paid 5,000 Rand for goods. So these goods will be going to your trading stock or trading inventory column. And that's your 5 pieces of information you need. Then on the 25th, we paid the wages in cash. So remember, we need to go to the bank and get this money in cash. And this is the amount, the 5,000 Rand, that I'm paying them. But now, the bank statement from GoBank. Now, the bank statement is received from GoBank, so that's who are paying. And we received the information from the bank statement. So your source document will now be your bank statement. We revealed the following charges. Now remember, this is a bank charge. So 40 Rand is a bank charge. Internet banking fee will be a bank charge. And your deposit fee will be a bank charge. So these bank charges, if you add it up, you will see it's 120. Why didn't I add the interest on overdraft? That is not a bank charge. Now guys, I hope you got these right. Let's go and look at the journal now. Hopefully you completed everything very nicely. So, here it is. Let me quickly just fix this for you. There you go. So it's check number 5. It's on the 20th. We have your electrical stores. We have your amount of 5,000 and in inventory. Remember, all the other columns will be left blank. Then we have check number 6 on the 25th. Remember, cash check, we're going to get cash from the bank. We will have 5,000 in your bank column, nothing in your trading inventory, but 5,000 in your wages column, and then nothing in your sundry. What do I do in the end? I do the bank statement one. There it is, given nicely in detail, and then I add all the totals. So I add up everything to get the totals at the end of the month. Now, as you can see, very nice, very easy. Just read carefully, and then I'll see you after the break. Okay guys, you have now balanced the cash payments journal in full. Now remember, we posted all the totals and the amounts in sundry to the general ledger. Now, I would like you to quickly look at this journal, the CPJ. Explain to the friend next to you, how will you post the CPJ to the general ledger? Where do we start? Where do we finish? So let's quickly write that down. We will say number one, where do we start with a posting? Number two, where do we end off with a posting? And then, what accounts will be used? So drop down the accounts. So what accounts will be used? And then the last one, will they go up or will they go down in this instance? So 2 minutes. Quickly do it. Okay guys, let's see. Hopefully you explained your friend next to you in the best way possible. Where do we start with the posting? We normally start on the left hand side, your very first column being bank. So we post bank, then we go on to the next column, which is trading stock, next column, which is wages, then we go to sundry, and then we work from the top, which is all the accounts listed from the top to the bottom until you get there on the 30th, if there's a 30. In our case, we have the 27th, which is interest on overdraft. Now, that is your very first start and your end. Now, what accounts will we use? Again, the headings in your columns. I already mentioned them. Your bank will be your first ledger account. Your trading inventory, your second. Your wages, your third, and so forth. So we'll go on and list all of these accounts because these are the accounts that we will use. Then, will they go up or down? And I'm going to go through them now. Let's go and see. So let's start with your equipment. You bought more equipment, so equipment went up, and equipment is an asset, so equipment will be a plus minus account. And as you can see, we bought equipment on the 1st of March. We bought it through bank, so bank went down. Equipment went up, but that's our contra entry. Remember, for every debit we have a credit. We will use the CPJ as my source, and then I have 1,400 that I've purchased. Now, what happened to trading stock? Trading stock also an asset, and this asset will be a plus minus account. Now, guys, did we buy trading stock? Yes, we bought. So what happened? You used money to buy trading stock, and you've used your CPJ as source, and you've bought 25,200 in total. Now, let's go look at the bank. The bank, also an asset, and that asset will also be a plus minus. But now, what happened? Plus minus meaning my bank went down. So when bank goes down, we use the money. If we use money, we have less, and therefore your asset decreased, and your asset decreased on the credit side. Now remember, all your assets will fall under the balance sheet section. So all your balance sheet sections, these are things that we will maybe end of a year, we'll end the year off with these things, and we will continue next year with the amount we closed off at the end of the previous year. But let's continue. Now we have the nominal entries. So nominal meaning mostly your income and your expenses. Now, what happened here? My wages went up. And why did wages go up? So it's a plus minus account. We paid more. We paid more wages, and we used the CPJ as the source. Now remember, when your expenses go up, what happens to your owner's equity? Your owner's equity will be negative because we have a bigger expense, and with bigger expenses, the owner will lose profit. But let's continue now. Another one, the rent expense. Rent expenses go up. Why did rent expenses go up? Because I paid money, and therefore your owner loses interest, his owner's equity goes down again. The next one, bank charges, also an expense. Expenses are plus minus, and remember, a negative effect on your owner's equity. The last one, interest on overdraft. Also an expense. Remember, it's a financial expense. The expense goes up. Why? Because we paid interest, and because we pay, your owner's equity is negatively affected because your expense went up. And what is my source? All of the time we will use the CPJ as source because that's where we got the information from. Now guys, I trust you got all of these right and you understand fully. Remember the contra account. Just want to explain that in detail today. The contra account means I can't write into this details column interest on overdraft. It doesn't make sense. Interest on overdraft went up. Why? Because we paid money. So if we go and look at the bank went down on the credit side. And why did it go down? Because we used money. Now, let's go look at my next one, the petty cash. We have a petty cash journal. And what is petty cash again? Petty cash will be an asset. So it's more or less like bank. But remember, this petty cash is on our premises. It's in a tin. We use it for small purchases. We keep it safe, maybe in the safe. So remember, this money will be used within the business daily for small purchases. We don't want to write out a check if it's a 10 Rand or 20 Rand check. We would rather go to the shop and use money. So therefore, money we need to start off every month. How do we get that money? We need to go to the bank and get the cash. So how do we get this cash? We write out a check and say, give me 1,000 Rand for the petty cash, for example. Then we have this 1,000 Rand in my hands. I take it back to the business. I keep it in the tin, and then I can use it for small purchases. So petty cash, again, an asset for small purchases. Now, the T account that we're going to quickly look at focuses on the petty cash impressed. Now, what does that mean? The petty cash impressed means whatever I spend this month, I need to go and get this month to start with the same amount every single month. So let's look at this example. Again, petty cash, which is an asset,
It's a plus, minus. And as you can see, on the 1st of January, we went to the bank to get money. So we used the CPJ as source, and we got 1,200 Rand.
Now I'm telling you, this 1,200 Rand needs to be there every beginning of the month. Every first of every month, we need to have 1,200 in that tin. Now we're going to see how we are going to do it. Now let's see. During the month, I used some of this petty cash. Now if I use this money, I buy small things, I pay maybe a casual wage, maybe the owner takes 20 Rand for himself. What happens to this petty cash? It's getting smaller and smaller, so it's going down, right? So let's look at the T account. When we use it, it's going down, and we can write it in here as total payments. My petty cash journal is now used, and how much did I spend? I've spent 1,129. Now guys, remember, I started off with 1,200. I can't spend more than the 1,200 unless I go to the bank during the month to get more money. But now in this case, we spent less than 1,200. So the money spent was 1,129. So how much do I have left? I have about, 71 Rand left? Now, how much do I need to add back to the 71 Rand to get it back to 1,200? Because what do we need to start with on the 1st of Feb? I need to start with 1,200. So let's go and look at it. I will go back to the bank on the 31st, and I will use the cash payments journal again to get the cash from the bank, and I will go and fetch 1,129. Now, what do? I add the bigger side, and I take it over to the other side, as you can see on the same line, and then I will get my balance. And where do I take the balance? I take it over there, and therefore, do we start with 1, 2 in the next month? For sure. Now, let's go look at a few transactions. Now, the petty cash journal works exactly the same as the cash payments journal because we are still paying. So here are my transactions. It's from Nicholas Traders. Let's go and look at a few. Again, number 2, we purchased postage stamps from the post office. So what are we buying? We are buying stamps, and we pay 20 Rand with voucher number 15. Let's go and look at the petty cash journal. There it is, 15 on the 2nd, post office, petty cash went, remember, down, and therefore postage will go up, the expense is bigger. What did I do next? I'm just going to show them to you. We'll refer back to the info now. The next voucher is on the 16th. The day is the 5th. We bought from Super Stationers. We used 100 Rand, and that 100 Rand was for stationery. So again, if you read the transaction, it will show you. And as we go on, you will see the vouchers follow each other. We are paying a person on a specific date, and we are paying a certain amount, and then the last difficult thing is, why are we paying? For this instance, we've paid Kim 150 Rand, and here we had 150 Rand for donations and 20 Rand for refreshments. But again, very important to remember, we have the big 5. We have 1, we have 2, so the doc, the day, the who we paid, the amount we've paid, and then lastly, what. This is all number 5. What did we pay? Now guys, because this works exactly the same as the cash payments, I would like you to do the last few. Please complete the last few for me. I'm giving you 1 minute to complete number 14 and number 20. Let's see. Okay guys, let's quickly finish this petty cash journal off. Remember, accounting, you need to work very, very, very fast, otherwise you won't finish.
So remember, on the 14th, we bought refreshments from Lindsay's store, and it's for a visitor, 20 Rand. Next one, the owner, Kevin, had left his lunch at home. You gave him 50 Rand for lunch. So it's drawings, right? The next one I'll show you is the 25th. We bought envelopes. Remember, envelopes will be stationery. We bought it from Louise Stationers at 50 Rand. And then the last one, the 31st, we posted a parcel, and the postage cost was 25 Rand. Now, how do we finish it? Let's go and look at the answers. Remember, my vouchers will all run in order. So we have the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd. As you can see, we have the dates, we have who we paid, and then very easy, the amounts. And then lastly, remember, Kevin took money, he's the owner, and we will write drawings, Louisa Stationers, we bought envelopes, that was 50, and then we posted a parcel, that was 25 Rand, and that will be your postage. Now remember, how do I finish off? I need to add all the columns, and then you are done. Now guys, hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you very, very soon. Remember, practice makes perfect.